And welcome everyone to a world of frenzy and fits, where today we will be talking about mass hysteria. To take us on this educational journey today, we have Ned Barnaby and Frederick von Power to share their knowledge on this topic.
Hello, my name is Dr. Frederick von Power. Mass hysteria has been my passion of study for a long time now. To start things off, we need to define mass hysteria. Mass hysteria is a phenomenon that transmits collective illusions of threats, whether real or imaginary, through a population and society as a result of rumors and fear. Anything to add, Ned?
It's been known as conversion disorder, which basically means someone's psychological symptoms affect their nervous system when there is no physical cause to an illness. It comes to light after a psychological distress. Once an idea or threat gets into people's minds, experience physical effects.
Now, we will begin our first story of the night, where we learn about a case of mass hysteria that involved an outbreak of spontaneous dancing.
I can't stop dancing. I have an uncontrollable urge to dance. Why does this dancing feel contagious? What the heck? This is so weird. I can't stop. This should be our permanent stage to dance on. Let's get a band. Yes! Oh, geez, I'm getting kind of tired.
I want to stop, but I just can't. I'm so exhausted.
This is getting dangerous in Alabama. People are having strokes and heart attacks from heat and exhaustion. We need to put an end to this. They need to leave. Let's send them to the mountaintop shrine with a priest.
Take away this plague. It is killing us. Take away this insanity. Please. We don't.
This story took place in 1518 in Strasbourg, modern-day France, and was one of the first documented cases of mass hysteria. The people had no idea what was going on or what this was. They had no idea how to face this problem or what to do. The story does not have a definite ending due to the people being on the mountaintop for a significant amount of time before they slowly returned to normal. But it is believed that the praying on the mountaintop method worked because not only were other people not being affected or dragged into the plague, but people believed that they were praying away their guilt and absolution. Their minds caught on to this idea. Remember, mass hysteria is a phenomenon where an idea or threat travels throughout a population and results in fear or rumors. This can cause psychological distress and real physical symptoms. This is what happened in this example of mass hysteria.
It is important to understand how and why these cases of mass hysteria come about. In some cases, it can be triggered by an environmental incident. An example of this would be contamination of a water supply. This can cause people to literally worry themselves sick. Even though people may not actually get sick from contamination, the idea can cause people to feel real physical symptoms and physiological stress. People who witness other people's feelings a certain way or doing certain things can trick themselves into doing the same thing. They manifest the same symptoms upon themselves. A well-known psychologist by the name of Sigmund Freud believed that mass hysteria was a defense mechanism against sexual conditions. This idea of Freud's came from his work with women who he believed were hysterical. There are many different ideas around what could cause mass hysteria, but it's important to remember that there is no hard and fast rule about the cause. Different ideas and situations affect the cause of mass hysteria.
Now, we are back to share another story on mass hysteria. This story is commonly known around America as the Salem Witch Trials. This started in 1692 in Salem, Oregon. Backstory: the idea of witchcraft and the devil were very prominent in Europe in the 14th century. The idea made its way to New England and affected particularly the Puritans living in Salem, Oregon.
I feel so sick.
You guys look terrible. What happened?
There was a lady practicing witchcraft, and now we're possessed by the devil.
What?
We must tell everyone. Everyone has to know. There's witches in this town. This is so bad.
Everybody quiet down. Anyone accused of being a witch must stand trial. If they admit to their sin, they'll be in prison. But if they don't, we'll burn them at the stake. Burn hell, witch!
The governor's wife is a witch!
The people were paranoid and had the idea that the witches were real people that worshiped Satan. It all started with rumors and accusations that then led to much more. After a few girls claimed that they were witches, mass hysteria broke out and people went into a panic. Most of the accusers were teenage girls. These girls were encouraged and got attention when they deemed people witches. So feeding into this, they started accusing people that they didn't like and told the courts that these people were barking, yelling, and chanting at them, trying to force magic on them. In the end, 19 people died due to being hung or executed for being accused of witchcraft. While many more were accused, they were imprisoned because they admitted to witchcraft, as it was the only thing that would possibly keep them alive. The trials ended in 1693, after the governor's wife was accused of witchcraft and people began to realize the craziness of the whole situation. The story started with a rumor that was made up by girls and turned into a huge event that we still hear of today. Because people were already a little worried about witches, this rumor spread quickly and became a huge deal. These people were becoming so physiologically stressed that they started to add on to and believe this idea of witches.
Well, that was a very interesting story. Now, let's take a look at some history on mass hysteria.
Documented cases of mass hysteria stretch from the 14th century until modern day. Originally, this mental disorder was considered by Freud to be only apparent in women. It was said women got this disorder as a result of an imbalance of fluids in their body. This was the first mental disorder that was ever given to women. Throughout the history of this disorder, it has been studied from two different perspectives: the scientific perspective and the physiological perspective. When this disorder was first named, it was cured with things like herbs, sex, and fire. There's little to no info on this disorder, so people did whatever they could to cure it. Now, mass hysteria is studied and treated with psychology along with other methods.
I'm getting something from HR. We gotta go. We're back. Now we're talking about the Halifax slasher. The story of the Halifax slasher took place in Halifax, England in the year of 1938. What started as one white lie turned into a whole town of panic, which led to false accusations popping up around the town. In truth, there was no such thing as this crazed Halifax slasher. This fake persona caused riots, shutdowns, and major hysterics. As soon as one victim confessed to lying, it caused a ripple effect, and the other so-called victims came forward to tell the truth. Once the truth came out, the Halifax slasher vanished, and that ended the hysteria.
Help! Help! What happened?
I was attacked.
By who?
I don't know, but it was a man with a hammer and the brightest buckles on his shoes.
As the governor of this town, I am adamant to put a stop to the slasher. I'm setting up my personal investigation team to go find this horrific person. Go look. I have news. What happened? I was attacked today. Don't tell me it was the slasher. It was. I was coming home from the mill and I felt like I was being followed. All of a sudden, he came up behind me and slashed me with his knife.
I was attacked too! But
What?
it's a man, and he had these massive shoes with big, large tips.
Frederick Von Power, NBC News. Governor, what are your thoughts on this Halifax slasher situation?
I'm aware of the chaos in this town. Shops are closed, stores are locked. People are afraid to come out of their houses. Me and my investigator team are doing everything we can to put a stop to this.
So you say you were attacked by the Halifax slasher?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, what did he look like?
Well, he had a large hammer and buckles on his shoes.
Okay, but what did he look like, his face?
I think he had a beard and a tattoo on his right arm.
So you say you also saw the Halifax slasher.
Yes, I was attacked.
Tell me, what did he look like?
Well, he had these shoes with these really big buckles.
His build?
He was really tall and skinny.
What about his face? Did he have a beard? Any tattoos?
No. No tattoos.
Last night I was told that the man had a beard. and a dragon tattoo on his face. Are you sure that you were met by the Halifax slasher?
Well, I thought I was.
Are you lying to me?
I confess, I made it up. I saw on the news all these other people getting attacked, and I don't know what came upon me. I just slashed myself. I don't know. I confess I lied.
Governor, I've got news.
What is it?
After interviewing all the victims, I've concluded that they all lied. None of them were attacked by the Halifax slasher. In fact, one of them confessed to me that they made it all up.
I'm flabbergasted by this news. Everyone who has been spreading these rumors must be charged. We must find them all and give them the correct punishments. This is not okay. Everyone listen up right now. Whoever has been spreading lies, rumors, or false intentions about this slasher will immediately face punishment. This is not okay. We have a whole town in chaos and worry.
This story is a good example of showing how mass hysteria can be related to groupthink. Groupthink is when group members feed off each other's emotions and ideas. When something is started, everyone just chooses to follow along. Just like in this story, once the idea of this slasher was brought to light, it started a phenomenon of people going along with ideas and adding to it. They follow as a group, and eventually you have mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria is difficult to treat due to its differing effects between individuals. Generally, it begins with isolating each of the patients and giving them a psychological evaluation. Cases can often be sourced from the patient's mental state, whether they are stressed, anxious, or fearful. So through identifying each person's stressors, doctors can eliminate the root of their hysteria. Additionally, some people have real physical symptoms, such as heart attacks, strokes, or nausea that result from their disorder. These symptoms are able to be treated with the correct procedures in hospitals separately from the hysteria itself.
Another treatment that was used for women who were experiencing mass hysteria back in the day would be that physicians would give women sexually stimulating pelvic massages to help relieve their stress. After giving the massages, people reportedly said it felt as if they had been given a glass of champagne. This method of treatment helped women who were experiencing mass hysteria to find solitude and feel withdrawal from the mass hysteria they'd been succumbed to.
And our last example of mass hysteria is Tanganyika's laughing epidemic of 1962.
What started as a joke, told inside a boarding school, eventually caused the population of several cities in the Tanganyika region to have uncontrollable fits of laughter. The laughter started with 3 girls and spread throughout the school. The school was forced to close down on March 18th when 95 of the 159 pupils aged 12 through 18 had been affected. The teachers were not affected, but the hysteria was passed to the girls' parents, who passed it on to residents of nearby areas. At least 217 people had laughing attacks in the village of Nishamba, and outbreaks occurred in other villages as well. It ended almost 18 months after it began.
Christian F. Hempelman theorized that the episode was stress-induced. In 1962, Tanganyika had just won its independence, and students reported feeling stressed because of higher expectations by teachers and parents. He said with today's stress, this could even happen again. This incident didn't occur constantly, but in relapses.
Mass hysteria is very interesting in the world of psychology because it's psychogenic, meaning that it is all in the minds of the people who showed the symptoms. It is not caused by an element in the environment, like a toxin of some sort. Mass hysteria shows how one group or person can influence many others. It occurs when there's an underlying shared stress factor in the population, usually in a group of people who have less power than most. An outbreak of mass hysteria usually begins somewhere where stress is very prevalent, like a workplace or a school.
Yes, that's a great way to help explain mass hysteria.
I'm Frederick Von Power,
And I'm Ned Barnaby.
and that was today's episode of the Super Savvy Psych Show.
Thanks for watching.